Hello and welcome to the THOMCAST. I'm Tom, president and dictator for life of 515comics.com. And last week I talked to you guys about putting together a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign for the Volume 2 of Nextuse and getting the page up and running. So I didn't do that because I realized I didn't have a lot of things that I needed to actually get that page up and off the ground. I did go ahead and do some research about whether or not I want to go with Kickstarter again or use Indiegogo this time. I'm just going to go with Kickstarter. I've already got an account set up with them, and the accounts go through Amazon, and just everything worked last time, and it worked really, really well, so I'm not going to fight it. But I did not actually, I started setting up a page for it, and then I realized I didn't have this, I didn't have this, I didn't have this, and so I wasn't really ready to put together a video for it or really do anything to actually launch it. There are a lot of decisions yet to be made. I was just so excited because it's like, I've got this big chunk of work done on book 2, so now I can go ahead and start this campaign. And I realized that all of the work that I have done really can't be used so much for promotional material. I mean, it's either like exclusive stuff just to be put in the book, like some of the art by other artists, or it's just the pages of the comic which are already on the website. So some of the stuff that I actually need to do and get done include like doing the cover. Like that's probably one of the biggest things that I need to have done before I start this campaign, is actually be able to show you like, hey, here's what the book is and what it's gonna look like. A cover I can easily use in just about every bit of promotional material for the upcoming book. So that's what I did this week. Looking at Volume 1 here, as you can see, predominantly featured on the cover is Ezekal, just part of him really. And yeah, so he wraps around onto the back there, and we just see him at this back angle, and we just kind of get to see what he's looking at in the distance there. And I really liked how this cover came out. I thought it was pretty subtle, pretty interesting and cool, and yeah, I really like it. My friend Maddie gave me a bunch of really great advice on how I can do all of the covers from here on out. And I took his advice and his idea, and I will be utilizing it. So this cover, if you can see, the spine is predominantly this blue-green color of Ezekal's coat, because that is what wraps around onto the spine. And Maddie made the suggestion that I go ahead and do a similar thing, but do red. He thought that red would be really good for the second book. He's got suggestions for all, I mean, pretty much I'm set for cover ideas for a while. But so his idea was, why not do a similar thing with the cover, but use Timothy as a character instead of, say, Ezekal, like in the first one. Use Timothy as the main cover character because he wears red in the chapter that he's featured in the book. And I'm like, that's a really cool idea. Also, another great reason to use Timothy that Maddie pointed out to me is that, like Ezekal, he appears in about the 3rd chapter of the book, or the 8th chapter for Timothy, and is only featured in it for about half of a chapter. Wow, that's kind of creepy and cool that worked out so well. Here is the rough sketch. Let's see if I can get this looking kind of nice for you guys. Yeah, there he is. So basically we see Tim working or sitting at his chair in his lab, looking at the null visor that at the end of chapter 8, spoilers, he gives to Randall. It's just kind of a cool little introspective piece. It's kind of got the same mood as the first one, where it's really subtle and subdued, which is just kind of my style, I guess. Kind of like that. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and I'll bring up this is the flat color. I went ahead and got it inked and got the flat colors on there. Now I will, I mean the first volume had some shading on it, so I'll probably do shading to the same extent on volume 2's cover. So I'll start working on that and actually get some text placement and stuff on there. But overall, I'm really happy with how it's looking, and I think that it's going to make for a really cool cover, and I hope that you guys dig it. Some stuff that I need to decide when I'm actually putting this book together for final print is, I set some precedents with the first book about how things will be laid out, and I've already talked a little bit about how I'm going to be changing a lot of that in the second book. The cover is a big part of that too. There's some things that I didn't do for the first book that I really kind of now wish that I had. Now that I realize I'm going to go ahead and make a series of these books, you know. So the second book is probably going to be a little bit different from the first. Just a little bit different. I'm probably going to do a couple things differently. And we'll talk about that more. This is already running a little long. Anyway, thank you guys for your time. I will have some more stuff to talk about next week. Have a lovely evening. Take care.